hey, hey, hey. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Clown, 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 clown. Hey, 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 hey. Clown music for the clown. Clown music for the clown, boy. Cha boy. Booyaka, booyaka. Clown music for the clown, boy. Now, I haven't seen the video. Y'all told me to check it out. And from the little that I know of this, is he Black American? Does anyone know? Is he Black American? Does anyone know if this individual is Black American? I don't know. From my understanding, I thought he wasn't Black American, because you know how white conservatives, they love themselves some foreign-born black skin. They love foreign-born black skin. And let me just say this is not to hate on any foreign-born Africans, okay? This is not, he is not indignative of all Africans, okay? Let me just put that out there real quick, because I don't want any problems in the diaspora, all right? Anyone trying to cause problems in the diaspora, I would say is an agent, okay? Is an agent, 100%. Malcolm X spoke on it, and everyone since then has spoke on it. That is not, you don't become strong like this, right? Divided and conquered. You become strong like this, okay? The ballot or the what? That is correct. The ballot or the what? That is correct. Let me just put that out there. Now, oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Let me just point out the hypocrisy before we get into it. Let me just point out the hypocrisy from what I've seen from many of these conservative mediums, these networks, these pundits, these absolute buffoons. I don't say they're anti-black buffoons, because that's what the Republican Party is. Not to say that the left is any pro-black. Or not to say that. The left is pro-bussy, okay? The right is a temporary bussy, okay? They only support bussy if you say what they want you to say, okay? They support bussy as long as you vote Republican. Okay, you can say as much bushy stuff as you want. Well, yeah, absolutely. But I vote Republican. Okay, all right. That's what we need. That's what we need. Are you a liberal? No, I love Republicans. Okay, that's what we need. Keep it up. Don't worry, they'll be full bussy in a few years. Don't worry. They'll be full bussy themselves. Oh boy. Did y'all see Ron DeSantis' video that they criticized, called it homophobic? Lord in heaven. The last place I thought I'd hear the H word was from the Republican Party. Hot damn. The last place I thought I would ever hear the H word, that's homophobic, would be from the Republican Party. What did I tell y'all? They will embrace everyone except black people. Isn't that something? I just find that's what's so crazy to me. They'll embrace all type of opinions, right? All type of opinions except the black opinion. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. The moment you start talking about black empowerment, they consider that racist. They consider that anti-white. They consider, oh, what happened to you? Wait, what? So as long as I just talk about white empowerment, I'm good. But the moment I start saying, hey, how about we actually bring some solutions, to these people that you say that you care about and that the Democrats, are exploiting. Well, Lucas, we don't do solutions here. What do you mean you don't do solutions? We don't do solutions. We just point out problems. Well, how does that benefit anyone? It doesn't. It benefits us. That's who it benefits. Isn't that right, guys? Yeah, that's right. Wait, so you telling me you don't care? No, we don't care at all. So when you talk about Chicago, that's virtue signaling? Yeah. We don't care about any of those Negroes. Yeah, absolutely. They're pretty much just fodder for our campaigns. Lucas, you're smarter than this. I thought you knew this. No, I thought y'all were different. No, we're not different. Lucas, we hate the blacks. What are you talking about? Okay? The white liberal hates you guys too, all right? He hates you guys just as much as we do, okay? I know. They're over at our dinner. They tell us how much they hate you guys. Okay, all right, thank you. I think that's enough transparency for today. No, are you sure? Are you sure? We have a whole bunch of congressmen, teachers, lawyers, judges. Are you sure you don't want to hear them? I'm good, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna see myself out. All right. Take care. Take care. Absolutely crazy, bro. Absolutely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And the one step below black people are poor white people. Bruh, if you've ever seen a white conservative, a white Republican, bruh, they despise like they're poor and ignorant. They despise them, bro. It's crazy. Ugh. Get away, honey. Get away. What do you mean? What? He's just homeless. He's not gonna attack. Disgusting. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. They the same thing, bro. The white liberal will be like, oh, look at this. Look at the evil white Republican stepping over the homeless person. Here you go. Would you like some Popeyes? Here you go. Here you go. Don't touch me now. You'll get my Louis Vuitton dirty, but here you go. What? Why are you following me? Yeah, I live in this neighborhood. You live on the streets, okay? Don't follow me, all right? Don't follow me, or I'll call the police. Crazy, bro. Crazy. Now, let's break this down before we get into it. Because anytime we have one of those videos, there's always those buffoons who want to scream. So if they have a different opinion, they're a coon or a Sambo, Lucas. No, that's not how a different opinion goes. Surely, I don't want to hear any white Republican talking about a difference of opinion. Because one thing I've noticed, and here's something that every black leader has said. Do not abide by their rules and systems and regulations. Do not respect them. Okay? That's what you have to understand. And that's where the whole respectability politics comes in. Do not respect what they say at all if it's not of benefit to you. Because that's exactly what they do. You have to understand. You keep on trying to fight their game, you can't do that. You have to fight your game. Because these people are hypocrites. I had a first row seat to the hypocrisy. They will scream and shout about Candace Owens, right? And her being so rude, right? And aggressive and masculine. If you really want to see aggressive and masculine, check out some of Candace Owens' interviews and debates, we'll say. And what did the white majority say? Not the white liberal, because this is mainly have to do with the white conservatives. Because it's the white conservatives who love to say, look at what the Democrats are doing. Okay, well, what do you guys offer? Not a damn thing, but look at what they're doing. So that's what we have to focus on. We already know we don't mess with the white liberals. We already know their hypocrisy. We already know, okay? They'll say black power and then try to put your finger up your bunghole and talk about, trans lives matter. Well, my kid wasn't trans before he got into the school. Well, I don't know what to tell you. So please don't get that confused because they always try to use that false dichotomy. Nevertheless, they'll say, praise a Candace Owens or praise any, rowdy individual when they say what they want to hear. Remember Conservative Thug? R.I.P. Rest in piss. Okay. He was talking ill of my family, and that's what you get. Now you 6 feet under, pimping, probably in hell. especially since you were giving black women STDs and everything. But you notice he was conservative thug, right? This goofy was smoking blunts. Yeah, that's what I do. I'm a gangster. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah. And white people were just eating it up. Oh, did you hear? Conservative thug. Now, never in a million years would I ever think that the Republican Party, the white majority Republican Party, would endorse and promote someone who labels themselves a conservative thug. What, isn't that completely contradictory to the whole narratives y'all been talking about? Look at the thugs in Chicago. Look at what's going on. They just a bunch of thugs. But you notice they will remove any criticism, right? As long as it suits them. That mofo was tap dancing, jingle, ha, and the white audience loved it. They were just modern day minstrel show. Modern day minstrel show. Now, we come to the point that I made this point again. When it came to the bussy, these mofos had always established, hey, marriage between a man and a woman. And that was one thing I was like, listen, I can overlook you bootlicking law enforcement. I can overlook you bootlicking the wealthy. I can overlook a lot of things when you are socially conservative. Now they don't even have that. Now you got Rob Bussy Smith. This man in a full homosexual dating app ad. Okay? You got Dave Bussy Rubin in a full homosexual marriage with a surrogate, not even adopting, a surrogate, bruh. And these mofos is just... Now, wait, hold up now. Hold up. So you guys can advocate for Caitlyn Jenner. Because they using Caitlyn's pronouns. Okay? You can advocate for Caitlyn Jenner, Rob Bussy Smith, Dave Rubin, Blair White, who's a biological man, but they act like, oh yeah, she's amazing. I love her. But when it comes to black people and the grievances that we have, y'all, that's crazy to me. Oh, why are you always victims? Stop with the victimhood narrative. Victimhood narrative? Where did the victimhood narrative come from? Who created this narrative? Who created this to begin with? Why don't you look into that? They will listen to all of that before they listen to a black person. That's wild to me. They will try and get votes from the Bussy sphere before they try and get votes from black Americans. People who have always had their back. We've always had their back. Since day one. Fought in every single war. Always had their back, bruh. We had their back so much that the white feminism happened to infect black women. That's how much we had the black. And they will listen to everyone and anyone besides black people. Hey, we have issues, so stop being a victim. Wait, hold up. What? What do you mean being a... What? Lift yourself up by the bootstraps. The only group in this country who has ever lifted themselves up by the bootstraps has been black people. Everyone else got a helping hand. Whether it was the Jews, the Italians, the Irish, Mexicans, white people. We all know white people definitely got a helping hand. Affirmative action is hand in hand with the Constitution. We the only group of people that after slavery gave nothing. They gave us nothing, bro. Listen to this. And we still thrived. They were so upset that we thrived in spite of them trying to do everything and anything to undermine us. Once again, that's what they do. Kill, steal, and destroy. That's scripture. That's what they were put on this planet to do. Kill, steal, and destroy. If you look at the history of this country, one group of people, not saying all, one main group, kill, steal, and destroy. Now, I know there's always those black, well, Lucas, we were here before they got here. That's not what I'm talking about. I understand. They got those who are already native here as well. I understand. I agree. Okay? But I also find funny when they want to talk about accountability. You guys can't take accountability for anything. Where in the history of this country have black people not taken accountability? Can you name a time and place? When? 1850, 1960, when? One thing that this country will always do is hold black people accountable, even when it's not even our fault. And then when it's not even our fault, what do they try and do? The same thing that their ancestors try and do. Vilify your innocence. Let me repeat this again. Vilify your innocence. Where do you think the whole didn't do nothing, where do you think that came from? They try to vilify our innocence. Imagine that. So now you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. If you're guilty, now you're just, well, look at, that's the stereotype. You're guilty. And if you're innocent, well, you're not innocent, you're guilty. Of course he's trying to claim that he's innocent. That's what they have done. So if you abide by their rules, you're always going to lose because those rules aren't meant for you. When they talk about 4th of July, I'm not celebrating 4th of July. It's another day to me because there's no reason for me to celebrate 4th of July. Because upon 4th of July happening, where was my ancestors? Where was I? Huh? That shows the hypocrisy of this country. That they're celebrating freedom and independence for all when, was there freedom and independence for all? That shows the hypocrisy. 4th of July in and of itself is emblematic of the relationship between black Americans and this country. That is emblematic, right? Despite us fighting for the country, bleeding for the country. Every single time, while we were in many of the wars being discriminated. Imagine being so evil and wicked that you still have hate for a person while in times of war. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. But what they'll love to do is whitewash it. Well, this is to celebrate America's independence. America's independence? Well, who was considered Americans? Because according to the Naturalization Act, it wasn't me. Y'all said this was a white country. How are you going to say this is a white country when you weren't here to begin with? Is that once again, that goes to show the bold ignorance that we see today. The bold ignorance. Imagine saying it's a white country. Wait, how's it a white country when we've been here? Can you explain that? That goes to show that, listen, you guys, when I've seen a lot of black people, you're arguing about stupid stuff. Don't argue about, black American versus African, all this. None of that matters. One thing that we have seen, one thing that they even told us in Aladdin, bro. What's the golden rule? The one with the gold makes the rule. And that's what they have shown time and time and time again. Whether it's revisionist history, whether it's lying via omission, where they forego context, and they love to leave out context when it benefits them. When it doesn't benefit them, then right? Because I've seen this multiple times. You'll have a clip, and it'll show an officer or a figure of authority, which they have always praised, which is crazy to me. They always praise it because they view the figure of authority as a shield, as a barrier to insulate them from black Americans. That's why many white Republicans will always say, yeah, go. They'll always benefit as far as the figure of authority, whatever it is, even if they're blatantly and overtly in the wrong. What will they say? Well, I need to know what happened. I need to wait for more information. We flip this around with Daniel Penny. What do they say? He's a Marine. He was keeping people safe. Was it? Well, we need to wait for more information? I didn't hear anyone say that. He was justified. When it came to Breonna Taylor, she was a criminal. She was dealing with criminals, a thug. Come to find out, that whole narrative untrue. We spin it around to Ashley Babbitt. She was wrongfully killed. That officer just shot prematurely. So when you try to follow their rules, you can't, because they're hypocrites. They've always been since the founding and origin of this country, and they always will be. Because unfortunately, there is a lineage of evil. Many of them have. And there is a system of trauma that is present. One book I always advise is post-traumatic slave syndrome. But one thing you have to understand, there's a flip to that. There's a flip side to that. Us generationally may have gone through trauma, but they as well have gone through trauma. Just a different type of trauma. I want you to understand, and I've talked about this before, if you're a group of people who have, as far as viewed another group of people as subhuman, right? Nothing but chattel to be bred and, labor, then think about the time it's going to take for you to not see that person as less than, as nothing more than, something akin to your pet or your dog, right? A cow. And you see what they do to cows. So think about the time that takes for your image to transform in their mind. Think about that. Now, here's what you also have to take into account. What is assisting them in that transformation? What is assisting them in that transformation? Think about it. What is it assisting white majority in their transformation of how they view black Americans? The TV? Can't say that. What? Entertainment? That's not it. What? Sports? That's reinforcing that you're nothing more than just, pets for our entertainment. What is assisting in this transformation? Nothing. And the reason why is because they've created the same networks that they had when they showed Birth of a Nation in the White House. They're just doing it on a larger scale. But they're doing it on a larger scale under the guise and deception of black empowerment. And not even black empowerment, but representation, black representation. So they'll say, hey, look at Snoop Dogg. Hey, look at Jay-Z. Hey, look at this person. Look at that person. And the body of their work has not benefited black Americans at all. To the point where now you go into certain parts of Africa, all they know is based off of what they see on TV. So think about that. There is nothing there to change their perception. Nothing there. And if you know someone who's already established a habit, a pattern, it takes time to break that pattern. So if you have a racist grandfather or a racist grandmother and you were raised under that racism, it takes time to break that. Just like when it comes to the black community. Of no issues of, problems of our own that we were placed in, but due to constant pressure of internal and external forces have been very difficult to break. So what does the body do when it comes and faces resistance? What does it take? It takes a path of least resistance. Is it harder for you to break the stereotype or you to embrace it? Especially if there's money, if there's financial incentive on the other end. When it comes to the white ignorance, is it easier for them to fight the stereotypes that they've been inundated with? Whether it's false statistics or a lack of context or certain prejudice and biases that they've grown to believe as true? Or is it easier to embrace it and put yourself in a network of other anti-black racists to your benefit? That's why you have to understand when white people or when a white person speaks out on behalf of a black person, that is extremely dangerous for them. And they have nothing to gain from it. That's why you see so few and far between. That's why you see so few and far between. There aren't a lot of John Browns currently because they know they have nothing to gain. Because they will be ostracized in seconds. That's how it is. So the same party they want to talk about, well, we freed the slaves from the Democrats. That's not the same party present. That's not the same party present. Because the only way they can fool you is through telling you lies. That's the only way. The only way you get a black conservative in present day is through ignorance of who he is. The only way you get a black liberal in present day is through ignorance of who he is. That's the only way. That's the only way. But let's hear what his analysis is on this strong black woman. Now, once again, we already know the stereotypes. Let's go over the stereotypes real quickly. The stereotypes that white, evil, wicked people, not all, if it doesn't apply, let it fly, have projected on the black woman. And I would say black men as well. While they were effeminating black men, they were trying to hypermasculate black women. So that when it came to be, when black men got out of as far as the system, whether it's incarceration, drug abuse, whatever that was, the ploys and the traps that they used to ensnare, that there would be a conflict between the black man and the black woman. Because you can't have an effeminate man and a masculine woman. They know this. Hence why they try to protect their own. They know that. But once again, they did this to us to cause confusion. Because they knew, hey, these people have a lineage of overcoming and adapting. We cannot allow that to happen. They were overcoming and adapting during slavery times. God forbid, they organize and do what their ancestors did presently. We can't allow that to happen. We have got to figure out a way to castrate these people. We have got to figure out a way, which is why I have an issue when it comes to white supremacy, because everything they've done has been from a white inferiority. If I'm better than someone, I'm going to give you all the opportunities and the handicaps you need because I'm better. If you need more time to study, take more time to study. I'm better. If you need a head start in the race, take a head start in the race. I'm better. I'm going to beat you anyway, bruh. I'm going to beat you anyway, bruh. It doesn't matter. What have they done systemically and systematically? The opposite. They try to take away. Once again, kill, steal, and destroy. And then what they've done is they created a culture and try to say, this is your culture. This isn't our culture. They created a culture for you and say, hey, look, this is yours. Now, when we break into what? The path of least resistance, do you resist that culture or do most people embrace it? You embrace it. So you've embraced something that's not even yours. And you've been vilified for it. And the circle of kill, steal, and destroy continues. So as long as there is a group of people that they can point to, well, all of their sins and all of their shortcomings can be completely overlooked. Because once you start digging into, well, who was the last black person that caused a recession in the country? Well, who was the last black person, that completely destroyed the economy? Who was the last black person that caused inflation to skyrocket? Once you start looking into that, right? That's what they don't want you to look into. They don't want you to ask questions. That's why they put all these stereotypes and this propaganda in the forefront. Because they're doing evil and wickedness in the background. That's why. So they need someone to take the blame while they're causing bullcrap of the country. While they're making deals with China and Biden's smoking crack and whatnot, they want to put black people in the forefront because they always need us. They can hate us all they want, but they'll always need us. They love to hate us. Just is what it is. But let's continue. Let's see what this video is about.
Disagree on what you said about affirmative action because I feel like without that legislation, I don't think black people stand a chance. We had to create the legislation to even have a chance. And I don't know why you have faith that without that legislation, things will be fair or on equal footing for black people.
I think that the right way to do this is actually ensure equality of opportunity, educational access at an early age, which, by the way, we don't have in this country, starting at an actual young age.
Mm-hmm.
How about
now? Who doesn't have that, right? This is what they try and do. They try and once again whitewash it, or we'll say Americanize it. Well, you're not a black American. You're just an American. What does that do? Who does that benefit? Especially knowing the history of this country. Who does that benefit? It doesn't benefit me as a black American. It benefits you as a white American. It benefits him as an Asian American. It benefits that person as an Italian American. It doesn't benefit me as a black American. Because my history with this country, my ancestry with this country is very different from your history, and your history. Your relationships are all similar. Italians came here with an American dream. Asians came here with an American dream. Africans came here with an American dream. I didn't come here with an American dream. That American dream was never presented to me. Everything that black Americans had, we had to fight for. They didn't have to fight for it. Because why? They were seen as what they wanted. They were brought in here in order to make us look bad. They were brought in here in order to scapegoat us. Well, look at what they're doing. Look at what they're doing. Look what they're doing. Well, are you going to give us the same privileges, regulations, and permissions that you give to them? No. But you got to figure out a way. Well, then that's not fair to hold us to the same position as them if you're not going to treat us the same. Too bad, so sad. And that's what you're always going to get. That's why as far as empowerment and working together is so important. Because they don't care. I've already told you all this. I didn't know to the extreme that they didn't care until like fairly recently. I knew, there was, people who didn't care and like, yeah, okay. But I didn't know it was as bad as I thought, as it is. I didn't know it was this bad, bro. I didn't know it was this bad, bro. And that's why you have to understand they don't care. When they say that, they mean it because they've never cared. They've never cared. Do you understand? The only time that they even thought about caring was to benefit them. White liberals, they don't have a problem putting on a kente cloth and kneeling. Who does that benefit? What do I get? What does my group, right, get out of you kneeling with a kente cloth? What does my group get out of you putting a BLM flag? Who does that benefit? Doesn't benefit me. Benefits a white conservative. Why? How? Because a white conservative can now say, well, look at BLM. Why aren't you all talking about BLM and how they took money from y'all? What does that do? That allows them to completely skirt the actual topic, which is state soldiers murdering American citizens. But once again, they don't view black people as American citizens. They never have. They were forced to. They were forced to under the 13th, 14th, 15th. They were forced to. Think about that. They didn't want to. So all of this is just tic-tac-toe with white people, whether the white liberal or white conservative. And the people who see this, that are white, they don't want to speak up because they know they're going to be ostracized. And there's nothing like being ostracized as a white person in an all-white community. That's not what they want, okay? That's not what they want. And there's no moral conviction. That's what you have to understand. When it came to slavery, there were some white people who were like, yo, this is morally wrong. I can't fuck with this. This is morally wrong. I can't justify this. So there was some moral conviction there. That moral conviction in present day is gone. It's nowhere to be found. Because there is no morality in politics. It's become inundated thanks to the system of capitalism. Because now money is in the form of votes. It's a different currency. So it's no longer as far as two different narratives. Now it's pretty much the same narrative, just told by different faces. That's really it. It's really frightening when you actually look at what's happening. But let's
about doing that in a way that's agnostic to race. That way we...
Once again, agnostic to race. The reason why I have to pause this, just for copyright reasons and whatnot. But they always want to talk about agnostic to race. When throughout this history, what have they shown? The Constitution shows that they're not colorblind, even though they tried to, right? If you look at the Constitution, they use as far as, ambiguous language when it comes to black people. They'll never say Negro. They won't say Black American. But we all know who they were talking about.
Prevent seeing one another on the basis of a color of our skin. but we actually solve the real inequalities that we have when it starts with inequality of opportunity, starting with education. So my view is, I think my approach is actually going to be more successful in lifting up more black Americans than have been the Lyndon Johnson approach of actually using race-based quota systems.
All right, guys.
Now, listen, all that sounds good to someone who's uneducated. But we are the educated, aren't we, Bruce? That sounds good to someone who's not initiated, bruh. To the uninitiated. But we are initiated. Aren't we, Bruce? Aren't we? Okay?
So I want to react to...
Now, once again, he's slurring his speech, very inarticulate, but because he's saying what the white community wants to hear, not all. I have to preface that because there's always that one, dolt in the comment section. That's racist. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. Right? It's the same charitability or that they presented with everyone else. Candace Owens can be angry and hostile, and she'll be seen as brave and assertive. This man can be a babbling buffoon, okay, who can't pronunciate, the from they, and he'll be like, oh, he's a good one. Absolutely bold. Intelligent. So you have to take that into account. But let's hear.
The Breakfast Club interview with Vivek Ramaswamy, who is a GOP presidential candidate. Quite honestly, I got to keep it 100 with you guys. I mean, out of everybody in the GOP field, I think that Vivek Ramaswamy clearly is the smartest, okay?
Now, he thinks, I want you to understand his intellectual and political aptitude. He believes that Vivek Baba Booey, because I'm not going to put any respect on his name because he didn't put any respect on my ancestry. He thinks that he's the smartest. That tells me everything I need to know about Simple Jack right here. That tells me everything I need to know about Simple Jack.
This sounds like Sambo talk to me.
I agree, Kratos. I agree. This does sound like some Sambo talk, but we haven't even heard anything yet.
Hey, he's clearly the smartest. He's clearly the best at articulating his ideas. I do think that there's some questions about his actual government experience, but I don't think that actually disqualifies him from being president of the United States. I think
so. His leadership doesn't disqualify him from being president of the United States. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let me see if I can make this. There we go. The smaller that way, so we can get to see the little gerbil right here.
I think he's very smart, and if he doesn't win this time around, which he probably won't,
he has no shot in winning. If you looked at the polls, it's Trump, DeSantis, I forgot the third person. Ramaswamy is all the way at the bottom, next to Christie. He has no chance of winning, but that's the point, right? That's what she exposes in the interview, is that, hey, this is just a PR stunt.
That I would love to see him in some sort of government position and for him to run again. I think that the GOP desperately needs somebody like Vivek Ramaswamy, who's an articulate, smart tech guy.
Articulate, smart tech guy. Now, I'm all ears to see what he thinks about what he said that he believes is smart.
That really believes in America's ideals. I think that we really need a guy like him, okay? He's non-divisive.
He's non-divisive. Now, what does this go back to what I say? Anytime they say something that the white conservative agrees with, it's non-divisive. If you say something they disagree with, it's divisive. You call someone out, why are you dividing? We need to stand together. I can't stand that. That's a sign of weakness. If someone needs to be called out, they should be called out. But because the white conservative, as you can see with white men, unfortunately, right, they've been castrated. Okay? Their culture is coming back to bite them in the butt. That's why their kids are transitioning. All right? That's why they got the alphabet and drag queen story hour, which is nearly 99.9% white men. So their culture is coming right around the corner to bite them in the butt.
And he's just, in my opinion, he's just a great overall contribution to the GOP and the conservative movement, okay? And he went on a Breakfast Club.
Now, I'd like to see him actually articulate this sentiment. Why is that?
in hostile territory. And this interview was extra hostile, more hostile than it needed to be, because you have a certain segment of black people in this country, not all black people, but a certain segment of black people that really don't like immigrants, especially immigrants like Vivek Ramaswamy, who they see as benefiting from the work that black...
No, let me, so once again, this has nothing to do with not liking immigrants. This has nothing to do with not liking immigrants. The only person who would say that would probably be an immigrant. Is he an immigrant? Does anyone know if this man's an immigrant? Okay. Does anyone know if this man's an immigrant? What we have an issue with is immigrants coming over here and dictating or telling us like they have a peculiar or a certain insight into the country that we don't have being native to the country. No. Nobody hates any immigrants, bruh. Nobody hates any immigrants.
Black people did.
I want you to think about that. We hate immigrants. Show me in our history, in the history of this country, where we've hated immigrants. I can tell you where immigrants hated us. Where they had riots, protests, boycotts. Because either they didn't want us in the community, they didn't want us in the neighborhood, they didn't want us to have rights. But you notice they switch it around on us, talking about we hate immigrants. Excuse me? I beg your pardon?
In regards to getting civil rights, okay? And they...
In regards, bro, listen to what he says. He says black people hate immigrants in regards to them getting civil rights. What?
I mean, who they see as benefiting from the work that black people did in regards to getting civil...
Oh, in regards to black people getting civil rights? Oh, it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. In regards to us getting civil rights, and at the end of the day, you can really say we really don't have any civil rights. What civil rights do we have? Except to be persecuted, killed in white neighborhoods. What rights do we have except to be persecuted, killed, profiled in white or Asian shops? I guess the ability to be persecuted, I guess they view as a right.
Rights, okay? And they especially don't like people like Vivek Ramaswamy because he's a conservative so-called person of color. And
conservative person of color. Notice how he's adopting the left's rhetoric. Now, why would you say person of color? The reason why, because that is an attack on black Americans. The only colored people, all right, in the history of this country were black people. When it comes to the United States of America, it broke down to white or black. That's how it was. If you look at if you go way back into the census and how they filed people, you were either Negro or you were white. The reason they say color people, because now they can include everyone. What does that do? That dilutes black Americans. So we've already been diluted from the jump. When they wanted to discriminate against us, you were Negro. You were black. They knew who the hell you were. But when they want to say, oh, we want to benefit you guys, we want to put out a law that benefits you guys, now we're colored. Now we're BIPOC. Now we're anything and everything because it dilutes the power, the weight. Because now they can say, why help colored people? What colored people? What colored people? Pink is a color. What are you talking about? Yellow's a color. Brown's a color. What are you talking about, colored people? It's a hustle. Absolutely a hustle. And Dr. Claude Anderson, he already went over all of this. That's the reason why they do that.
And he is advocating for policies that are actually fair to all Americans. Like, for example...
policies? How can policies be... Oh, my God. I would love to debate this man. He's not a man. He's a boy. Intellectually and physically, based off of what I'm looking at. How can it be policies that benefits everyone if they're not policies solely addressed to black Americans? How can it be policies that benefits everyone if you had policies that specifically targeted black Americans? That was never addressed. What they fail to understand is that by actually helping, or not even helping, honestly, giving back what was owed, to be honest with you. But they view everything as helping, right? They view Abraham Lincoln, nice white people freed the slaves. They view everything from a very misguided, perverse lens of I'm helping you. No, you're not helping me. You're just undoing the wrong that shouldn't have been there in the first place. Anytime that they help, who always wins? They do. That's not helping. That's called self-helping. You're helping yourself. You look at this, anytime they want to say, well, we're helping, you're not helping anyone but yourself. Affirmative action didn't help anyone but yourself. 13th Amendment didn't help anyone but yourself. A lot of this didn't help anyone but yourself. And thanks to the judges and the interpretation of the Supreme Court, which if you look at some of the rulings of the Supreme Court, they didn't help anyone but who? Themselves. The white people on the Supreme Court. Skate Queen says, benefit of the doubt. Perhaps this man recently suffered a stroke. Also, Tezlyn is still dragging Baba Booey for the filth on Twitter. Good. He needs to be dragged. He absolutely needs to be dragged. 100%. 100%. But you know, white people, white conservatives, they love themselves some brown on the outside, but some white on the inside. They love that because that's the perfect talking point for them. That's the perfect shield. The perfect shield. I bet they wouldn't like it if I were to find a white person who was talking pro-black. I bet they wouldn't like it. I bet they wouldn't like that. They already have a name for people like that. What do they call them? Was it wiggers? That's what they call them? Yeah, they despise people like that. Despise people like that.
He's against affirmative action, as you saw at the beginning of this video. Charlamagne the God, triggered by the fact that Vivek Ramaswamy is against affirmative action because Charlamagne the God believes that all black people or all people of color benefit from affirmative action, when the truth is that... Well,
that's the problem in and of itself. All black people shouldn't benefit from affirmative action. That's the problem. And then when you look into the numbers, as I did, hell, as you look up the Harvard Crimson, they go on and say the majority of black people who benefited from affirmative action, guess what? Weren't even black Americans. They were African immigrants. Like I said, anytime they do something, who does it benefit? It benefits themselves. Because they'll bring on an African immigrant and they'll say, hey, look at the opportunities that we've given you. And because the African immigrant doesn't know anything about the country, doesn't know any history about black Americans and its relation with the country, they'll be under the impression, what did Paul Mooney say? The illusion of the inclusion, where it's like, hey, I'm living the American dream. Look what this great country has allowed me to do. And now they've created an ally. They've created another shield for themselves. Because you know no black American's going to say that. No black American's going to say that.
A lot of so-called people of color don't need affirmative action because they're actually qualified, right? They got there based off hard work.
The issue is not the qualification, and thankfully he didn't use the whole metric, right? When they say merit, not metric, because I talked about that in the other video, where a simple a white inferiority talking point is metric. We need meritocracy, which is a laugh, is a joke, bruh. Given the fact over 40%, if not more, in Harvard is from legacy admission. We saw, what was the white woman who went to jail over trying to game the system to get her child into USC, I believe. Yeah. The issue is not whether or not we're qualified. The issue as far as who is allowing us in. The issue back in the day, and even presently, wasn't whether or not black people had money to pay at the diner. The issue was whether the diner wanted black people's money. That was the issue. That always has been the issue. And because of that, that's why we had HBCUs. That's why we had certain black diners. But now, if you try to build a black diner, what will they come and say? That's racist. So once again, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You can't follow their system because their system benefits who? Them. You can't abide by their laws Because you're going to be screwed if you do and you're screwed if you don't.
In merit, like, for example, Vivek Ramaswamy, right? They can't stand people like Vivek Ramaswamy who they see as, again, immigrants that have benefited from the hard work of black people. Now,
no, not at all. Everyone has benefited from the hard work of black people. Everyone in this country has benefited from my ancestry, my lineage. Everyone. That's one of the points of reparations. When you have the white ignorant ones say, I wasn't a slave owner. Yeah, but you're here and you benefited from my ancestors' hard work, who went unpaid. Unlike your ancestors, who came over here willingly and were paid for their labor. That's the difference. So it's not that we hate that you benefit. No, because we're a giving people. We always have been. We always will be. We're a giving people. 100%. And that's been our problem to a fault. We give so much that we don't take. We give so much that we expect some reciprocity, and it never comes. You give so much, you give so much, whether it's a vote, whatever it is, you expect some reciprocity. Whether it's with the Democrats, hey, we voted, and then they say, well, thank you. And they're like, well, okay, well, next time, they'll do it next time. We take people at the word. And that naivete, right, is due to not knowing how to deal with a group of people who are wicked, who come here to steal, kill, and destroy. It's no fault of our own, but that's what they try and say. I'm the bad guy because I took you for your word. I'm the dumb person because I believed what you had to say. So you have to understand, you can't play their game. You play their game, you are going to lose. We don't care if anyone benefits. We're glad that you benefited. But there's only one group of people who aren't benefiting. It's us. This is the only group of people who aren't benefiting. Every other group is benefiting except us. And when we make that grievance known, we're now victims. Stop the victimhood. Wait, what? Lift yourself up by the bootstraps. Wait, what?
Vivek Ramaswamy is not an immigrant. He was actually born here in America. But again, the racists on the Breakfast Club don't really seem to know that.
Now, racist. Once again, using the term he doesn't even know. Using a term he doesn't even know. The irony of him having a fat phobic shirt with a build like that is crazy. The irony of him having a fat phobic shirt with a build like that, this man got man boobies. But anyways, I won't use personal attacks. Because that's crazy, bro. That's wild, bro. That's wild, bro. That's crazy. But nevertheless, there are no racists on the Breakfast Club. They didn't say anything racist. They're in no position of power to enforce any type of racism. But that's a word that white people like to hear. White conservatives. They love hearing that word, racist. Especially when it's not properly applied. Such in this case. Tezlyn retweeted your video. Respect. I appreciate it. Listen, when somebody is going to bat for you, you need to have their support. You need to have their back. I don't have any problem with anybody giving these clowns that work. If you giving a clown that work, best believe I will send you praise. I'll do anything I can do. That's what's supposed to happen. That's what's supposed to happen. One thing we need to understand, there's more of us than there are of them. I'm going to rewind that. There's more of us on this planet than there are of them. So this shouldn't be happening. When you have, as far as black women or black women or black men who are standing up, their voices shouldn't be drowned out by buffoons and minstrel shows. That shouldn't be happening. They should have to silence us to a certain extent. We should be victims of censorship. Because our message is so palpable that is being disseminated everywhere and anywhere. But that's not happening. Instead, we got, white supremacist organizations like TPUSA, Daily Wire. That's not what's supposed to be happening. That shouldn't be happening. This internet is free for all. We need to use it. So I don't have an issue with people being on Twitter. That's not my concern. My concern is how do we use, I don't want to say weaponize, but how do we use that to benefit us? How do we use Twitter to benefit us? How do we use YouTube to benefit us? How do we use Instagram to benefit us? How do we use Truth Social to benefit us? The issue is not to completely be ignorant of it, because that ignorance, they will weaponize that. You don't know how Twitter works? That's good. Well, then you can't tell when you're being discriminated against. No, that's not how we've ever moved. We've always been as far as ahead of the curve because we had to. We got a little lazy because we got under the illusion of the inclusion. That's not good. We always had to be in front because they know they were going to lie to them. What did they do? Kill, steal, and destroy. So we've always had to be ahead of the curve. We always had to find out what the new technology is because we had to know how they could use it against us. We always had to be ahead. Or at least have one person in there and report back to the group. Always. Because we know that they were here for our destruction. Simple as that. So yeah, I don't have an issue with black people being on all this stuff. But it has to be for a reason. If you just going on there just to talk and to be used as fodder for other, to amplify their racist narrative, that's not going to benefit anybody. That's not going to benefit anyone.
So, anyways, I want to react to this segment where they're going to question Vivek Ramaswamy about his qualifications to be president. And I just want you guys to notice how extra hostile they're being to this man. When if there was another candidate, if it was a Democrat who was a so-called person of color running for president, they would never be this hostile to that person. So
now, here's the problem. They're forcing a man to be honest as hostility. This is the problem with politics today, is that they view calling someone out on their BS, which is what she did, as hostility. She did what she's supposed to be doing. She did what we're all supposed to be doing, is calling people out on their bullcrap, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat. You think a Democrat's going to go on there and she's going to what? You think Tezlyn is going to go with kid gloves? Is that what you think? What does that tell me about him? That tells me his mind has been skewed. He can't even view things from a nonpartisan perspective. If he thinks he doesn't know anything about this woman. Knows nothing about this woman. I already gave my smoke to Charlemagne and DJ Envy. We already see that what they do with Hillary Clinton bringing out hot sauce. We already saw how they responded. I shouldn't even expect anything out of them, unfortunately. But there are some men out there like that, where you can't expect them to pick up the fight. They're not made for that. But somebody has to. Thankfully, we had her. She was present.
Without further ado, let's roll it.
Mention, the pride of being an American, and it is to have pride in this country. I'm also a veteran, by the way, for the United States Air Force. So when is it that you voted for the first time?
I voted in 2020.
Okay, so you're how old again?
I'm 37 years old.
So for how many years you sat around and did not get involved at all in any civic engagement? Is that my understanding?
A long time is the answer.
What is hostile about that? What is hostile about that? Let's hear what the minstrel show has to say.
And actually, that's what I wrote this book about.
Now, he didn't say anything. He's just laughing, right? Because what she did wasn't hostile. It was expertly done.
I'm not holding myself out as some sort of model. I'm actually offering myself as a self-reflection of my journey as a citizen to whom this country has given much.
His self-reflection is riddled with hypocrisy. That's what she's pointing out.
Right? As an adult, when you have kids, it changes your perspectives. I'm very honest about that. Absolutely.
Okay, no problem. So let's go deep
You being honest about hypocrisy isn't a +1.
into the self-reflection. So you've sat around and sir, I'm being as respectful as I possibly can. Please don't take anything
and you don't even have to be. And you don't even have to be. So take it off.
Well, again, the fact that she said that tells you that she's not actually trying to be respectful, right?
So once again, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? So the fact that she said that she was trying to be respectful shows that she's not trying to be respectful. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. That's how they've tried to corner black women and black men. You don't say anything, oh, you're effeminate. He's been buck broken. You do say something, he's hostile, he's aggressive. Why are you an angry black man? You let them know, hey, I don't want you to take this, out of context. I don't want you to take this in a negative way. Oh, yes, you do. You don't say that. Well, look, she's trying to be hostile and aggressive. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Just look at her tone. Look at the way she's framing this.
How is she framing it? How is she framing it? She asks him a question, right? Hey, how old are you? When was the last time you voted? But yet you want everyone else to engage in their civic duty when it took you over 20 plus years to do it yourself? She's exposing his hypocrisy. Now, this minstrel show, once again, is just tapping. As a matter of fact, we need his proper music. I forgot to add the proper music anytime we have someone like this. There we go.
You sat around and did nothing for years, right? Why do you think you can be president? You didn't do nothing. Clearly, there's some hostility here.
Let's go.
How's there hostility? What does she say that's hostile? Once again, he's taking her calling him out on his hypocrisy as hostility. Buffoon, minstrel show.
So you've been sitting around in the country that my ancestors built for.
You see what I'm saying, guys? Right?
Now, he has a problem with that. What black American would have a problem with her saying, you're sitting around in the country that my ancestors built? He can't be. He definitely, his parents can't be from the States. His parents can't be from the States. No black American in attendance today, living and breathing on this country, would take issue with what she said. Yeah, bruh. Yeah, bruh. Where are you from, bruh? Where are you from?
This is exactly what I'm saying.
Hold on, let's add his background music.
You've been sitting around in a country that my ancestors built. Well, first and foremost, everybody's ancestors helped build this country, okay? I'm sick and...
No, that's not correct. There's only one group that was here from the beginning that everyone exploited. I don't know why we're acting like black chattel slavery didn't play a significant role in this country. That the wealth that was built from that, because you have to understand, it was free labor. That was the point of slavery. Free labor. Once again. But he's trying to do what? Everybody, right? He's trying to what? Dilute black American. That's what they honestly are trying to do. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, they will always try to dilute your impact. Because if they can dilute your impact, well, then they don't have to worry about any grievances you have. Because we all have the same grievances.
Tired of this conversation about who built the country. Everybody's ancestors helped build a country. I really don't know why this is such a hard concept to grasp, okay? People love talking about this to divide people.
Once again, to divide people. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You tell facts, it's divisive. You just agree, well, then you're one of the good ones. Think about that. Think about that. You can't play their game, bro, because it's not made for you.
Regardless, the whole point of her saying that is because there's animosity here.
Now there's animosity. There's animosity. He's projecting. There is no animosity here. She's just pretty much going point by point. But what is he doing this for? He's tap dancing for his white audience. He's tap dancing for his white audience because his white audience is too intellectually inferior to actually articulate their grievance. They just see this and go, meh. That's why they need the black mouthpiece, who's a proxy for them, to put their grievance into words, which he's poorly doing. Well, she has animosity towards him. Okay? Oh, Oliver built the country. That way they can go, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good job. Yeah, woo.
Okay, this animosity that Vivek Ramaswamy is a child of immigrants that came over, okay, to this country, okay, and was successful, and he's also now pushing for policies that she believes are not helpful or harmful towards black folks. So this is why she's so upset. This is why she's framing it like this. Again,
what is she framing it like? Once again, he's using words that he doesn't understand. He's using words that he doesn't understand. She's not framing it in any type of way. She's not framing it in any type of way. She merely asked him a question. How old are you? When was the last time you voted? Why are you telling people to be active in their civic duties when you haven't done so for over 20 years? But anything in order to vilify the black woman, right? Anything to vilify the black woman. Because Charlemagne and the rest of them, they're sitting idly by. But if somebody speaks up, you're the bad guy.
Any other candidate, she wouldn't be framing it like this.
Or
any other candidate. Now, did he do any due diligence as to who this woman is and what she's been doing? Did he do any due diligence whatsoever? No, of course not. Because why? The narrative would just shatter. What he's doing is placating to his white ignorant audience, and it's bold ignorance. That's what they have. That's the only ignorance that they have. You'll never hear a white ignorant be shy about their ignorance. Whether it's a white liberal or a white conservative, they're always bold in their ignorance. You'll have, the white liberals out in the streets. Trans is being erased. We exist. Bold with it. Whether it's a white conservative. Coming out, BLM is a hate group. BLM is a... Bold ignorance. Reparations, that's not fair. That's racism. Bold ignorance. They know you'll never hear any of them being silent with their ignorance. It's always bold. You ever notice that? Black people, we have a problem with that, bro. Because we don't want to look stupid. I'm like, wait, hold up. What? We always want to double check. What happened? What are we marching about? What's going on? They don't care. They're bold with their ignorance because there's no one to tell them differently. No one's going to tell them differently. Bold with their ignorance. January 6th. Who's going to tell them differently? The police were assisting their ignorance because they are one and the same. Politicians were assisting their ignorance. One and the same. Bold with their ignorance. Bold ignorance. That's the only thing they know.
Years, your parents came over as immigrants, brought you over. You made millions, according to your resume, off of this country, and you have absolutely not been involved in civics. One, not voting, and two, let me just ask, because I know you mentioned earlier you don't want to sit around at the debate and talk about accomplishments. Let's make the accomplishments pretty simple. In high school, were you ever a class president or take any leadership role? Because your opponent did, Chris Christie. He was the class president. So have you ever taken any leadership at all on anything, or just...
Broke him down. Asked him, right? Broke him down. You done any civic duties? Any leadership? Broke him down. Just simple as that.
Can I just correct a couple factual things that are kind of important? My parents didn't...
Now, the only thing he wants to correct is that his parents didn't bring him over. That you were born here. Yeah, you were born here. I know. We get that. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Bring me over to the country.
Facts.
Now, why is he laughing about this? Was something so funny about it? Once again, this is very un-Black American. There's definitely some non-Black American in that ancestry. This is not how Black Americans respond. Okay? Not those who know of their history.
Facts.
Let's play his theme song.
I love the way he said that.
What did he say? What did he say? Other than, hey, my parents, they didn't bring me over here. Well, technically, we don't know. Was your mom pregnant upon her coming over here? That's what I would have asked. I would have no shame with it. Okay, was your mother pregnant upon her coming over here when she decided to immigrate to my country? I'd like to know the time frame. Because there are a lot of people who come over here pregnant and then be like, and then have the baby here and be like, hey, look, they're American just like you. They're native born. Where were you conceived, sir? That's what I'd like to know. Right? When it comes to Republicans, right? When did life start? When did the sperm penetrate the egg? What land were you on when that happened? That's, if we're going to be petty, right? I can be petty. I don't want to be petty. But if we're going to be petty, well, so you were conceived over there in India. Okay, got you, okay. But you were born here. Okay, all right.
Again, she's framing this as again, this dude is an immigrant. Again, it reminds me of that rant that made
he is an immigrant. For the most part, he is an immigrant. Is he not? His parents immigrated here to conceive him. They probably raised him with the customs of India. It's the same thing that Africans do, right? They come over here, they raise them with the customs of Africa. It's the same thing that Mexicans do. They come over here and raise them with the customs of Mexico. It's the same thing everyone does. Am I missing something? He's not FBA. He doesn't talk like he's FBA. He talks like an immigrant. It's just quick to spot. He talks like an immigrant. But let's hear.
Amazing Lucas went on.
Amazing Lucas. He mentioned my name. Oh, well, now I didn't even know he mentioned my name. Let's hear.
He was an immigrant. Again, it reminds me of that rant that Amazing Lucas went on when he got mad, right? After Vivek Ramaswamy destroyed Don Lemon.
He didn't destroy Don Lemon. The only person who would think he destroyed Don Lemon was a tap dancing, chuck jiving, minstrel show Sambo. That's the only person who would think that he destroyed Don Lemon. Let's see. Lord. I don't know. I don't even know what to tell you, bro. Bruh, I don't even know what to tell you with this one. This man is going full on. Look, guys, look at me. Look at me. The only person who would think that would be someone like this. That's the only person who would think that, bro. I don't know what to tell you, bro. The only person who would think that would be someone who is historically ignorant. I think we have a video of him, bro. This is a video of him. I didn't know this. Someone sent this to me. I didn't know this was a video. This is a video of him, apparently. I didn't know. If this is a private video, black conservative, reach out to me. I'll take it down. Okay, I don't want to. If this is like a private video between you and your family, I don't want to get in trouble with anything. Okay, I don't want to get in trouble with anything. I just want to, just let me know, and I'll stop. I'll blur it next time. Okay, I'll blur it next time. But let's continue on. Let's continue on. See, he's the problem. When you have people like this is what's divisive. Because what this actually does, this is fodder for people who actually want to divide the diaspora. Because they'll use him as the poster child for all Africans. And that is not fair. Not every, as far as African, okay, who may be foreign born or whatnot, thinks like this. That's why when you have individuals like this, it's so damaging to any type of unity. It's extremely damaging to any type of unity. Because you'll have people going, look, we need to separate ourselves from them. They own some different type of vibes. And that's damaging. Just like when you have any type of black Americans talking, disparaging Africans. What does that cause? What do they come to do? Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. What are they doing in return? What are they doing? Are they talking ill of Asians? or are they giving them bills? Huh? Are they talking elevations or are they giving them bills? You tell me. They're unifying everyone else while we're dividing and conquering. We're making our power weak. They're doing the opposite of what they're doing. And then make you think to believe that this is a win. That's not a win. That's not a W. One thing Dr. Claude Anderson says is that there has to be social repercussions for such behavior. And there can be. There absolutely can be. And there should. There can be, and there absolutely should, because we need to divide. The only people we need to divide are the people who aren't for our empowerment. That's it. The only people you need to divide are the people who aren't for your empowerment. And there are a lot of people who are for your empowerment, whether you like it or not. There are some, they just don't have any incentive to raise their hand, because that puts a target on their back. They know there's a target on our back, always has been, always will be. And they're like, I don't want the same smoke y'all are getting. But I'm here, right? So what you'll have is you'll have private support. You'll have a silent support where it's like, yo, I got your back. I got you. I appreciate what you're doing. You'll have that. I've had that before. Miss Tezlyn's in the chat. She wants to call in. She can call in. Absolutely. 100%. I don't know if the number is working or whatnot. Let me see if I can let me double check Skype, because you know Skype is funky with it, bruh. Hella funky. But that's what I'm saying. We should not, as far as just allow other groups to dominate these platforms. That should not be the case at all, bruh. At all. There's no way. We should have multiple people, black people, who have millions of followers and whatnot. May not be millions, but we can get up into the high numbers, bro. Definitely get up into the high numbers. I don't know if it's not working. Let me try. I can try and call myself, see if it's working. But we can't lose this technology war. That's what we can't lose. We lose this technology war. Well, guess what? All the information you're gonna have is from a very biased and anti-black perspective. Let me double check to see if it's working. Yeah, it's working. I don't know if she's yeah, it should be working. The number should be working. You can call anytime you'd like. Absolutely.
When it comes,
but let's continue until she calls in. If she wants to call in. But let's go on.
This conversation about the Second Amendment and the Civil War, right? You know, and how the Second Amendment rights played a big part in black people securing their freedom. Clearly, in that rant, he didn't know that Vivek Ramaswamy is actually not an immigrant. He's a full-blooded American, right? He was born here.
Once again, his parents, his lineage, is that of immigrants. Okay? Lineage is that of immigrants. Okay? Whether he's an immigrant or native born really has no bearing on the idiocy and drivel that comes out his mouth. But nonetheless, once again, his parents didn't make India great again. They tried to come over here, where we are. Let me repeat that again. He's so smart, and his parents were so hardworking that they didn't decide to make India great again. Huh? He didn't decide to make India great again. He wants to talk about his parents were working so hard. Well, why didn't they decide to make India great again? Why'd y'all come over here? Am I missing something? If you're so intelligent, you're so hardworking, right? Why don't you go make India great again? Why don't you go make the same opportunities present in India? You didn't do that. You decided to come over here, where my ancestry is, where I'm native to, and then try to tell me what's wrong with my group of people in this country. In the meantime, between time, everything about you is hypocrisy. That's not how that's run. That's a no-no. It's not gonna happen, bro. It's not gonna happen.
In this country, right? And again, if he was an immigrant, if he was brought over here from India by his parents, he wouldn't be able to run for president. Again, these people clearly need to take a civics course, okay? You know, the same civics course that Vivek Ramaswamy is advocating for 18-year-olds to take before they're able to vote, right? Because clearly these people don't know how it works in regards to who's eligible to be president and who's...
I don't think he's missing the point. I think he's either purposely obtuse or he's just being intellectually dishonest. 407, you're on the line.
Hey, this is Tezlyn Fiagaro. How are you?
Tezlyn, the queen herself.
Man, can I just tell you, somebody sent me your video. I just got it maybe about an hour ago. I didn't know you were live. And I watched maybe about 10, 15 minutes in, and I am in tears laughing at, not only was it hilarious, but it was spot on from my facial expressions, what I was thinking about at the time, what his responses were. And I just want to thank you because, you know, I expect, you know, I've done Fox News for years, and the same aggression, as they call it, the same, you were spot on when I said I'm a veteran. I did that for a reason. You hit that right on the nail. And because he was obviously requiring people to serve in the military, you know, if they did not pass the civics test. So it was a premise to, you know, what he was requiring others to do. And the whole point of it, Lucas, was to show that the same thing that you're requiring people to do, which is pass the civics test, that he did not have to do, obviously, that you've been sitting around for 20 plus years, not being involved, even doing the smallest thing to vote. And then in addition to that, you haven't served as a first responder or the military. So how dare you put that same challenge on anybody, and particularly black people, that the whole reason, as you mentioned, that you have the liberties and the justice and the freedom that you have is off the backs of black people. And so watching this has been really amazing. And I just wanted to thank you because you're one of the few that have actually had my back in a vocal way. And I know that, you know, as we say, you know, we don't need support and, you know, we're used to rocking out on our own. But I want to tell you, it feels good to hear somebody actually, you know, say, no, I see the play. I see what happened. And to just have my back. I'm rarely speechless, but you really have me speechless because I've been looking at it. I want people to know the game that's played. Normally on these videos, and I'll shut up and I'll let you talk. Normally on these videos, our engagement, I look at our engagement every day because I do the front page news. And I want people to pay attention to the game. The same day 85 South show was on the show, I think they got, it might have been 700,000, 600 or 700,000, I can't remember, views. You know that the engagement is usually 1, maybe 3%, if you're lucky, with people that actually go in and make comments and respond, if you're lucky. Mm-hmm. When you look at that video with 85 South, now remember, the Breakfast Club is an entertainment show. So that means our demographic is largely entertainment. So look at 85 South, 700,000 views, I believe. It was a very popular show because everybody wanted to hear on what was going on with DC Youngfly. You know, this was the first time he spoke since the loss of his child's mother. Mm-hmm. So you know that the engagement was going to be high. Lucas, it probably was a total of 2,500 comments. Now I want you to go look at the video that we did. 100,000, last time I checked, maybe 110,000 views. Do you realize it's almost, if I go check again, maybe 13,000 comments?
What?
13,000 comments. So typically you see maybe 1% of that, maybe 1,000, maybe 3,000 at best. 15,000 comments have been driven by his camp and his campaign to go over and flood the comments. And somebody said earlier, well, you know, don't worry about the numbers. It's not about that because I'm not Don Lemon. It's no me losing a job. Number one, iHeart is not my employer. So let's first get that straight. But I want people to see the play. That when we're fighting in our individual silos, you know, if I'm not supporting you, which is why I wanted to call into this show, if I'm not supporting you, I'm getting ready to upload. I just hit you up on Twitter because I didn't know you were live. I was like, let me get your IG so that I can, you know, bring people over to your page. If we're in our individual silos and we're not fighting on the battleground together, this is what they're doing. They're not having different conversations just on Twitter or TikTok or Instagram, because I got a lot of support on Instagram. They have taken the battle all the way, and I think some of it is trolls and some of them are paid comments. But for the most part, he has sent text messages out to his folks to flood the comments.
Yeah.
So now when you look at it and you look at the first 100, 200, 300, 400, they're all saying the same thing you said: aggressive, obnoxious, out of control, visceral, all the things that you mentioned. And I'm so glad you broke that down. Not once did I raise my voice. I asked if you pay
cool,
attention
calm, and
to
collective.
That's it. I didn't say anything. Just to give you some inside game, I didn't say anything for 10 minutes at least. I sat there and said nothing, even though I disagreed with a lot of what he was saying. I had one opportunity to say something. And when I did, I knew it was a question that he could not escape from. You know why? Because I've been commentating on Fox News for a minute. I have conversations that a lot of Democrats would never have. And first of all, I'm not a Democrat, but a lot of liberals, a lot of Democrats, a lot of black people would never have on Fox because they get caught up in the crosshairs in that lie. They can't handle the live heat. I knew that the best one question I could have, remember when Mike Tyson, for those who are old enough to remember, Mike Tyson would immediately go in with the knockout punch. He didn't do the dance around the ring to give the show. People would be pissed. They would spend money to go to Vegas and say, damn, I spent all of this money, and he literally knocks you out in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
When people say, you know, I wish you would have asked this and wish you would have asked that, people have to keep in mind, the Breakfast Club is a radio show. It's not a YouTube show. So we don't have the extended time that people think that we do. We literally have 30 minutes, 40 minutes may make it to YouTube, but on the radio show, which is their largest base, 8 million listen on the radio, 20 million listen on the podcast. They cater to radio. So I really only have, with two other people interviewing in the room, I may have one question, maybe two at best. So I have to make sure that that one question is solid enough to do what it is that I came to do. And I know that if I said something about the Civil War, if I said something about black race, this is what they do. They send people over, people of color, to come have conversations with other black people, to put them in their place, to get discombobulated in the race discussion so that they can go back and say, see, that's all they talk about is race. That's all they talk about race. That's why in the interview I said, I know you thought you were coming over to talk about race, didn't you? Oh, no, I wasn't. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. It was best that I talked about his background and what he could do to the country. And for those that were too slow to get it, when I brought up the sixth grade analogy, I was doing that to lower the bar, to show you that if you have a servant mind, a servant leadership, something in you should be about serving somebody other than yourself. So I'm taking it all the way back to the second grade. Were you ever the line leader? Did you ever do crisscross applesauce? Did you ever lead somebody out of fire drill? I was being sarcastic, but I also was lowering the bar to let them know that even when it came to sitting somebody crisscross applesauce in the reading circle, you didn't do that, homie. Nothing about you has done anything for anybody other than yourself. And the problem is we don't understand that politicians are here to serve us. It's not a business model. I've won Orlando Business Journal twice, Lucas. I've had 300 employees. I am a self-employed boss, period. I understand business. But when I was in business, I also started the Chamber of Commerce Ambassador Program for black people so that they can come learn how to do a business, volunteer. And I want to set this record straight, and I'm going to be quiet. People that say, well, you got paid, you know, in the military. I was reserved. Yes, I did. But I've done more volunteer service every year of my life, all of my life. I am right now Florida Supreme Court mediator and have been since 2008 on the civil, the circuit, and the appellate. I solve cases, thousands a year. This man graduated from Harvard and Yale. What have you done with that degree to help somebody else get out of a bind? What have you done pro bono? I'm not impressed, Locus, with people's visions and vision statements. That means nothing to me if you're not implementing your gifts to give back to the country that my ancestors built. And that's the part that people are not making the connection. So I just want to thank you. And I'll be quiet if you have any questions for me, but I wanted you to hear my voice and hear my sincerity, because I am a tough girl. I say I'm a tough girl. I'm an M60 gunner and all of that. But I just mainly want my people to know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm used to the death threats. I'm used to the, she's black and she's obnoxious and she's trash. I'm used to that. But as long as at least the 1,000 people that listen to me that can hear the sound of my voice, as long as you know why I'm doing what I'm doing, that's all that matters. Because I'm in a silo, I'm going to be honest with you. Because I don't rock with the Democrats the way they want me to rock with them and push their issue. They haven't shared my tweet. They haven't shared this video. They saw it, Lucas, because they have to keep saying, well, the Breakfast Club never challenges Republicans, or Tezlyn never challenges Republicans. So if they were to show me slicing and dicing him, it will go against what they've already said about me. And Republicans are definitely not going to do it because, again, they have to make sure they shit on me. So as a true independent in this space, it leaves me really by myself because I don't have a, Joy Reid's base that's jumping all over him tonight. I don't have the MSNBC crowd. I don't have the conservative crowd. They only rock with me, the same aggression, the same. I have literally been on Fox News telling people to shut up. Literally, I've said, be quiet when I'm talking. My aggression has been on 20 on Fox News. But now all of a sudden, when I ask a cool, calm, collected, now I'm so aggressive and I'm everything wrong with black women.
100%. How do we support you and people like you?
Well, I think what you're doing now, that's the support. I think it's really not a matter. How do we support each other?
Yeah.
How do we connect? How do we make sure, I didn't get your I didn't get your tweet, until it was brought to my attention, but I would love to send me your work. Anybody that's ever met me in person knows I'm the homegirl for real. I love on everybody, but now I will, do some straightening now too. Don't let that be confused. But anything, it's more about how can I support you. I know what my calling is about. I know what I'm here for. I was doing this on Blog Talk Radio for $39.99 a month. And made stories pop, which is a big three-way call. I got it out the mud. Nobody put me in this. Nobody, no family member, no person I had to, do any favors for to get into this. I made this out the mud by myself. I've been doing this for 20 years on this microphone consistently. When everybody switched up and talk about this, and this week I'm going to talk about that, and next week I'm going to talk about this, I have consistently been talking about what politicians are going to do for black people all of my career when there were no clicks, when there wasn't a subscribe now, when there were no share. So my question is, what can I do for you? This is about what I can do for you. As long as hey, I'm out here trying to put in work for us. I got killed on Fox News when I was doing it. Nobody knew what I was doing it. Yeah. Now people now kind of seeing, okay, this is what I've been on. And unfortunately, you just don't get the support. So I just want us to organize better, just to connect better, to know that we're out here, to know that, it's stuff out here. And it's, like I said, it's more or less, what can I do for you? But I try to share whatever I have. Whatever I have, I can give. I can't give it to everybody. I don't have control of the Breakfast Club. I can't say who can come on the show, who can't come on the show, what they do, what they don't do. This is their show that they've had for 13 years. I'm just trying to add, what I can do to make it better. But I'm going to be true to myself at all times.
Absolutely, man. You keep doing that 100%. Because I think we need more people like you to amplify that voice. Because man, I was feeling low, bro. I was like, oh man, black people got 5 years. So when I come across people such as yourself, it's empowering to an extent. Very much to know that hey, there's still people who are fighting the battle, who are still putting in work. And I think that gives a light for other people who may have been, a bit hesitant to step up to the front lines or to bare minimum to amplify such voices as yourself.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, I want to say this because I definitely don't want people to confuse. When I was asking him about, his experience, I was not talking about government experience. And I want to say this to everybody listening within the sound of my voice. Most of the candidates I've ever worked with, like Regina Hill, who I was just with over the weekend, I talk about her a lot. For people that follow me, she was arrested 21 times, Lucas. She beat a 16-year incumbent the first time. I was her director of comm. It was 3 of us that worked her campaign. She's been elected 3 times. I am not by no stretch of the imagination saying you need political experience to be a politician. In fact, I recruit the opposite. I think that we need real riders that done been through something, some people that done really had to face some adversities because they're the only ones that's going to be tough enough for this space, the only ones going to have a ball for this space. So when I'm saying what is your experience? I am not talking about being elected. I'm talking about what is in your heart. What is it? Have you ever stood up for anybody? I can tell you I got a bloody nose in the second grade behind Shantae Rowland. People laugh at those experiences, but I really want you to think. The people that have a problem with what I say really makes them think, Lucas, what have I ever stood for anybody? Shantae Rowland was actually, I used the sixth grade example, but I really could have went back to the second grade. I got a bloody nose over Shantae Rowland. Ben was picking on her. He sucked his thumb, and I got tired of him picking on her. She had a medical disorder, so she was really skinny. And she was a twin, Shantae and Shamitra Rowland. And she got picked on every day for how skinny she was. And one day, Lucas, I said, well, you know what? I'm getting sick of this shit. It's time somebody say something. Somebody say something to Ben. And I said something to Ben, and Ben hit me in my nose. I got a bloody nose. Everybody ran off the bus, left me by myself. I have never been in one fight over myself. Every fight I've ever had, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, legally, has always been over somebody else. So when I say I'm calling people to leadership, I want to know, have you ever been the one to raise your hand and say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say something. That's what I'm talking about. I want those type of soldiers, those type of riders to say, well, you know what? I'm going to run for city council. I'm going to run for dog catcher. I'm going to run for precinct captain, precinct chair. It's in you guys to do it. And I believe it like nobody's business, so much so that 300 people came down to Atlanta in September. Many of them are probably maybe even in this chat, because I think we probably have some pollination with folks that follow us. Came down to Atlanta, where I wrote the curriculum for candidates, operatives, and organizers. Came to Atlanta. I fed everybody 3 meals for free for the whole day. Spent $80,000, hustled up $80,000 to give you the game. So you think I give a damn about what a multimillionaire, whether it's him or Marianne Williamson or anybody else? We can go down the record on the things that I've done. And I'm not saying it to brag. I'm saying that if I can do it as a black woman in this country with both of my parents in the ground, and he can come from another country and literally put on his bio that he's from the upper echelon, and you ain't done nothing for nobody, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. So that's where my heart and spirit comes from. And I just want people to get involved in the process. Don't let us always beat us on the battlefield. And I'm not talking about just conservatives. I'm talking about Republicans too. Don't let them get the last word. That's why I'm in trouble now, because I wouldn't let them get the last word. I was being respectful. I really was trying to be. You notice I said like 2 or 3 times, Lucas, I'm going to give it back to Charlamagne. I'm going to give it back to Charlamagne. Did you notice that? I literally kept trying to give it back.
After you dragged him, absolutely. You gave it right back to him. I
gave it back. And he kept coming for me, and then you just kept going on and on. How, when I was giving it back? I'm actually much worse, to be honest. I was trying to take it light.
Yeah, he was doing little slide jabs, and you weren't letting it slide. And I was like, he's not getting that. She's not going to allow him to just do that. It wasn't connecting.
And a lot of people don't get that, too. When you're interviewing politicians, they literally, because I train politicians how to do it. They literally come in to eat up time. They literally do people understand this guy's a Harvard and Yale grad? For those who don't know, he graduated from Harvard. He also graduated from Yale. Do you realize I was debating a Yale alum? I want y'all to know that the girl from the hood was debating a Harvard and Yale alum. This is how I want y'all to know that y'all got it in you. They can have all the degrees, but you can't beat this talk game. You ain't quick enough. You're not fast enough. You're not witty enough. I came out of left field because that wasn't what he was expecting. Go back and watch his other videos on MSNBC and CNN and everywhere. When they asked him, tell us about your past experience, he said, well, we need an outsider. We need somebody from the outside, somebody that's not, with government. He learned the roles of, what everybody else said, Trump and everybody else. And so they just normally move on and say, okay, well, tell me about your other, tell me about your vision. Well, guess what, Lucas? He's not the only one with a business. I had a business. I worked for the first and third largest staffing firm in the world in Orlando. I own my own business called the Ally Group. I started in the recession. I had 300 employees, never had a loan, never had a grant. It was a for-profit business. I put people to work on a weekly basis. And in the staffing business, you know what we do when you go to a job? They say, tell me about your experience. That's the first thing that they do. And then if you don't have the experience, have you ever went to a job and they say, you know what, Lucas, come back when you get a little bit more experience.
100%.
And then they tell you to come back, correct? Yep. They don't just skip past the experience and say, well, I know you don't have any experience, but tell me what we should do to change the company. Imagine that in the interview. That's never happened. So the problem is, Lucas, they're not used to hearing that in politics. They're not used to hearing those challenges. That's why they got mad with Marianne Williamson, because I challenged her. If you are from California and you are a millionaire, it's not good enough to just write a book on reparations. Why are you not at the task force because I was watching everyday citizens take off their job to go speak in the task force. Why can you not take 30 minutes of your time, an hour of your time, to go speak in the task force? And she got offended. Well, I haven't lived in California in a very long time. I don't live there. But you're representing the United States. Is California not going to be included? Are you expecting to cut off California? See, nobody was expecting that, Lucas, and it's just the truth. It is what it is. I'm not going to people that can hire people and delegate and do. And you mean to tell me you can't go to California? She ran for office as a congresswoman. Why are you not rolling up your sleeves and doing something? Well, I wrote books. I gave back to the needy. No problem. But you're riding on a reparations policy. So what have you done for reparations in the city that you live with? And I don't have no problem with Marianne. I'm glad that she's doing it, but somebody got to ask that question. And she got upset and said, well, who else is running for reparations? Well, that would be the same argument that people say, well, you might as well go with Biden because who else is going to go against Trump? No, it's time we start asking, what have you done to be of service? Contrary to popular belief, the president is supposed to serve the people. I know it's confusing. I know they like to say, well, Donald Trump was a businessman, right? And that's why he's facing 40 indictments, because he took home paperwork like he was at the office. Well, it's actually classified documents. It's not supposed to be ran like a business. I respect a whole lot of his gangsters, and I respect the gangster conservatives. I'm going to be honest with you. I've always said that. They tried to cancel me for saying that because I don't think Democrats is gangster enough. But I'm still going to call a thing a thing. And that doesn't matter if it's Marianne Williamson who got upset with me and said, I thought she was a Bernie crab. Baby, I don't ride with Bernard either. I check Bernard, too, for his anti-blackness. At the end of the day, we must call a thing, and people are not used to hearing that. They're also not used to hearing my voice, so no matter how soft I talk, Lucas, I have power in my voice. I don't have, in the media, we call it pitch bias. So a lot of people are used to hearing, high-pitched voices on the radio. So keep in mind, I'm coming from a show where you had a woman there for 13 years, and I sound very different than Angela Yee. And we also bring different experience to the table. It's not a shade on her or me. But when people hear me come in and I have this, I guess bombastic type voice, it resonates and it's powerful, like how you broke it down when you said, okay, when she has this, shit just got real. it was the face and it was what you heard in my voice, which you were absolutely right. So I'm going up against that stuff as well. The bias, and I hate to make it. I'm not one to make it a male female thing because men do ride with me. You're proof of that. But there is, if Candace, like you made a point, if Candace Owens, she does the same thing. In fact, somebody compared that, Candace Owens doesn't even do what you do, and that's just simply not true. She does all the time. She debates and cuts off people all the time, but her voice is higher, and conservatives rock with her heavy. So even if liberals or Democrats come against Candace, they make a point to make sure that they get the last word on Twitter or YouTube or whatever, and they pump her up. So because I don't have that type of following, because I'm not dedicated to one side or the other, it does look like overwhelmingly people, disagree with me. I know better because I know over 20 million people heard that interview. But when you have 10,000 saying it, it seems bigger, than what it is.
Yeah, 100%. Those echo chambers be dangerous.
Very dangerous.
No, I appreciate you calling, and I appreciate, the interview, what you did and how you held yourself. Because in many cases, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. But
that's right.
At this point, anyone levying that criticism against you just looks, dumb at this point. Like, you're exposing your bias at this point if you have any problem with how she handled or addressed this man. So I think we can control DU and duplicate you 100%. Well,
I appreciate it, honey. And you're on Instagram, right? How do I find you on Instagram?
What is my Instagram? I think it's just I am Amazing Lucas.
I am Amazing Lucas. Okay. And can I say this about the Kevin Samuels thing, just to put that out there?
Go for it. Absolutely.
Kevin Samuels' family, actually two of them, just for clarity, have been loving me my entire life. So Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, has no problem with me. He knew the type of woman that I was. He knows the type of woman that I am. And like I said, his nephew walked for maybe about at least 5 miles, at least at best, using Kevin Samuel's word, at 10 years old to come to my house. He's been in love with me for the last 25 years. So let's not do the Kevin Samuel talking points with me because it won't end well. Also, the Kevin Samuel, this is not a dating. I'm not when I'm interviewing people, it's not to see if I'm the most feminine for you guys. I'm not here to see if I'm fit or feminine enough. What I am here to do is to see if people are fit enough to serve you. Let me say it again. I am not here for you to figure out if I'm fit or feminine enough to be your woman. I'm here to figure out if they're fit enough to be our leaders. I need y'all to get that. So let's stop with the talking points, the dating talking points. And next time, to whoever that guy is that did do that, next time be a man about it and tag me. I don't like the, that's weak in itself. So thank you, Lucas. I appreciate everything you're doing, honey. I'm going to upload. I can't upload the whole thing, but I'm going to put a couple of things out there and encourage people to go support you. I put $100 on it tonight in the super chat.
No, please don't. Absolutely. It's all you.
I already did. I already put the money in the super chat.
Oh, my God. Oh,
I'm about supporting people. That's who I am. And the record shows it, and I dare anybody to challenge it. So I just wanted to give you a couple of those facts as you continue to talk about it. No, baby, it's not just the military service. It's every year of the day, of every day of my life. Thank you, love. Thank you, everybody, for being so sweet in the comments, and I appreciate your support, and thank you for getting Lucas's attention that I popped in. And anytime you want me to pop in, honey, this is who I am. This is what I do. I'm never above it. I appreciate you, love you, and love to all my people.
Appreciate it. Same goes here. Thank you very much. You have a great day.
You too, honey. Bye-bye.
Woo! Let's go! Control D. Okay, for all the Windows users. I hope she didn't take that the wrong way. Control D is duplicate. Is duplicate on Windows. I don't know what it is on Mac. I don't mess with y'all Mac users. But yes, 100%. Woo! Absolutely, bruh. Absolutely. See, here's the thing. There are more women like that than you know. That's what I would argue. There are more black women like that than you know. The only problem is these mofos don't give them a mic. Because they know that when you get a black man or a black woman who can hold the room and knows what the heck they're talking about, that it's powerful. That energy is infectious. That's why. You have to understand that. You have to understand that. So when they actually get the mic by accident or by God's grace, whatever the two, that you see the outcome, bruh. You see the outcome. You see it. Control, well, I think that's in Photoshop. That's what I was thinking of. Control D is it's duplicate in Photoshop. Control C is copy and Control V is paste. I was thinking of Photoshop, Control D. For all my Photoshop users. That's how, what she did, that's how it's supposed to go. And everything she was talking about, her being an independent, that is, integrity is tough, bruh. It's tough. Because people have been conditioned, hey, this lane or that lane. It's very hard to get to one who actually speaks from a point of critical thinking. Because if you're a part of one group, then in many cases you have to turn off your thinking. Not all the way, but in many cases, turn it off in certain situations. And that makes it hard, right? It makes it hard for you to grow in some of these areas. Because it's like, okay, well, you're going to give smoke to the Democrat and you're going to give smoke to the Republican? I don't know about that. Right? But that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you need to understand. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay? Everything she did, she was supposed to do. And when he was talking about, hey, she would never do this to a Democrat, that's why I was like, you don't even know who you're talking about. You've done everything and said everything except due diligence. You didn't even bother to look at her work. You didn't even bother to do a back check. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. That's what's supposed to happen. And that's what people are supposed to do. You're supposed to have people's back who have your back. who are advocating on your behalf. That's what's supposed to happen. So if you want to go to the what is it, the Breakfast Club video, 100%. Show some support. And I appreciate her support with the super. Someone just showed me your support for me. Thank you. No, thank you. Because I can only do this if we have people like this, right? Because I'll amplify this message. I'll amplify the message. I'm not on Fox News. I'm not on NBC, right? But I can amplify the message. And that's what we need. Because everyone has their part to play. And that's what I've said. Everyone has their part to play. So that's not to belittle someone who may not be able to talk like her. Right? Who may not have the same knowledge as her. If you have a role to play, use your talents and skills that you've been blessed with to amplify a message that helps you in your empowerment. That's the whole point. Right? That's the whole point. You may not be able to get in front of a camera or something. Or you may not, I don't know, be able, but you have something, whether you like it or not. You have some skill or talent that God bless you with. Whether it's to draw, to I don't know, to speak, to you just think better than everyone else, to strategize, tacticians, whatever it is. Okay? I don't care if it's plumbing. Great. We can use you in plumbing, bro. Use you in plumbing, whatever it is. A carpenter. Okay, great. How do we use that for the empowerment, for the betterment? So 100%. 100%. So it was absolutely refreshing. Because y'all know I was like, you know what? Black people, we just, it is what it is. It is what it is, bro. Y'all know I had my 5 years, bro. I had my 5 years. But if we can get more of this, we may have a chance, bro. We definitely may have a chance. Because you have to understand, once again, there are a lot of people who are speaking truth. They just don't have the numbers. They just don't have the backing. That's what you have to understand. There are a lot of people speaking truth. They don't have the backing. That's where we need to come in. They're 100%. Because that's exactly what they do. I know. I've been behind the scenes. They have farms where they have people who post stuff and repost stuff and bots and stuff like that. We need to have that to combat the misinformation. The misinformation and the propaganda. That's what we need to have. So best believe there's more to come. God be willing. More to come. So when you have a message like that, right? She didn't have to curse. She didn't curse. She didn't raise her voice, and she was still vilified. Still vilified. But that message and how she framed it, very elegant, very eloquent, elegant, right? Precise, precision aiming. All did it with a smile. That's how you kill them with kindness. That's how you kill them with kindness. Because you see the interview, there's only one person who was killing them with kindness, and it was her. That's how you have to handle certain situations. Context is king, mind you. So she dragged a Harvard alumni. Completely dragged him. And you want to know something? I'm guessing he probably didn't know who he was talking to. That's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing he was probably he's probably so pompous that he wasn't expecting the heat. He probably wasn't expecting the smoke. Right? He was expecting, okay, I'm going to deal with this, these Democrat chills, boom, get out my talking points, right? Get my little sound bites that I can circulate. Yeah, he definitely wasn't anticipating, oh, wait, who is this? What is going on here? This is not how this is supposed to be running. Wait, hold up. Where you going? I'm not done with you yet. You saw his look of fear. Man was so scared we turned it into a meme, bruh. Dude was so scared. You again? That's what needs to happen. That's exactly what needs to happen. That's exactly what they need to say. You again? Yep, me again. Anytime you come out with some nonsense, yes, there's going to be someone who's going to combat that nonsense. That's what we need. That's 100%. That's the meme right there in the chat. Her again? Oh my God. Can you shut up, please? Hated it, bruh. Hated it. But that's what happens, right? What happens to the cockroaches when the light turns on? What happens to the roaches when the light turns on? Can't stand it. Can't stand it. And you don't have to curse. If you want to curse, you can curse. That's up to you, right? Up to you. But you also have to understand it does limit your reach, mind you. So what she did, absolutely amazing. Because now you can amplify it. You can show this to a kid, show this to adult, show this to a teen, show this to the elderly. It's palatable for everyone. Rated E for everyone. And the truth is still there. The truth is still present. As long as you're not, constrained by some type of echo chamber or some type of a prejudice. So 100%. Now, what I would like to see is a conversation with Biden or Trump, right? Or whoever the Republican nominee is. I would like to see that. Vivek, given what she did to Vivek, I would love to see that. Absolutely. Okay? Absolutely. Because that would be, we could do a pay-per-view for that. I would pay for pay-per-view to see that. I would pay for pay-per-view to see that. Okay? But you best believe the warning has been gone out. The warning signal, you best believe Vivek started to flare. He went. He did a flare, bruh. Everyone is on high alert. He did a flare like Jurassic Park. Now everybody's like, hold up. Who is this woman? Who is this woman, bruh? What is going on here? You know it's on high alert now. Everyone's on crazy high alert. Nobody wants to smoke. Nobody wants to smoke. This is what he went out. Hold up. He sent out warning signals to everybody. Listen, y'all. Yeah, y'all may want to be you may want to be careful around this woman. Okay, she's not messing around. She's not messing around. Y'all may want to be careful, bro. Y'all. He put out a flare, bro, to alert everyone else. He did. And it doesn't matter. It's not going to save them. It's not going to save them. It's not going to save them. Because we're going to use our own system. Oh, you don't want to talk to her? Well, you're a coward. You do talk to her? Well, you're going to get smoked. So now you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. Best believe there's more like her. There's more like her, bruh. More like her. So yes, I'm all about it, bruh. I'm all about it. Retweet her, whatever she's retweeting, bruh. When you have a video of excellence, which is what that video was, we should amplify the hell out of it. There should be nothing but support. Nothing but support from anyone who loves the country and any black American, okay? Nothing but support. Because that's how you're supposed to handle a politician. Especially a slimy, slippery, mofo like Vivek, bruh. That's how it's supposed to happen. All right? That's what's supposed to happen. No matter who it is. Like I said, people have been conditioned. They've been conditioned for mediocrity. That's the problem. So when you see someone going above and beyond, you hate it. Because now it exposes what you've been missing. You ever get people like that? You have a nice car, or a nice house, or a nice husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend, and they hate you for it. Because now it exposes what they don't have. It exposes what they're missing. That's what it does. Like I said, be a flashlight to the cockroaches, bro. Be a flashlight to these cockroaches, bro. That's what you gotta do. Day in and day out. Now, I don't know how she's been doing it for all these years. That's, bruh. I've been in it for what, maybe a year or so, where I was like, okay, hold up. Let me see what what's going on here, bruh. I was like, oh, what the hell is this? Bro, what the fuck? What is that? What's going on? Oh, damn, what? Bruh. Kudos to her, bruh. Because, after I looked at it, I was like, yeah, I've seen it up. We got 5 years, bro. We got 5 years, bro. So kudos, much kudos to her. 100%. 100%. Goodness gracious. We don't even need to finish this video, bro. We don't even need to finish the video, bro. Goodness gracious. The nonsense. The nonsense oozing out of this cretin, bro. Oh, boy. Been saying we need more leaders. I think there are a lot of... you know what? I think based off of being in the community, right? And speaking to people, I think there are a lot of people who could lead. The problem is those people don't have... They're not given enough... their voices aren't being amplified. So in many cases, right? I've had people say, yo, Lucas, I've been doing this and this and that. And it's like, well, I didn't know you existed until like, a week ago. So you have to understand that. They're not gonna amplify such voices that mess up the system. Because that's counterintuitive to everything that they've set up. It just is. If you've been making money off of people in the Matrix, you're not gonna put Neo on a loudspeaker. That's not gonna happen. Right? That's not gonna happen. So we have to do it ourselves. We have to do it ourselves. So every single platform that comes up, we should be on it, bruh. They should be sick of it. Why are there so many blacks on here? They should be sick of it. Okay? That's what honestly should happen. Why are there so many black people? Why do they keep recommending me so many black people? That's what should happen, bro. I don't care what the platform is. We should just infiltrate it 100%. Infiltrate 100%. Every single time. Because that's what they're doing. The only difference is they're infiltrating with propaganda, with hate. Right? How many times have you get in a debate on Twitter or something and the mofo hits you back with a meme with outdated stats? And it's like, what? That doesn't even apply here. But they understand it has an impact because most people are dumb. So they'll see that and be like, oh, well, that must be the case. Like, as I said before, we need our own propaganda. We need our own narratives being put out there. They're bold with their ignorance. We can't be bold with the facts. Let me repeat. They're bold with their ignorance. We can't be bold with our facts. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. So, I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyways, do we even need to finish this, bro? Do we even need to finish this? The foolishness that is this video? I'm glad he used my name, because now that gives me liberty to use his name. You may have barked up the wrong tree, pimpin'. You may have barked up the wrong tree. Okay? I love it when you use my name. By all means. Oh, that gives me 100. Oh, shoot. You just gave me a blank check, pimpin'. You gave me a blank check. You've contacted yourself too many times, Lucas. Your credibility is low. I don't know what that means. David Schlens. I don't know what that means. You have to speak English. That's the only language I understand at the moment. I'm working on my Spanish. I'm working on my Spanish, bro. I'm working on it. Don't worry. Now we don't need to cover the Sambo ass video anymore. Okay. All right. Well, it's 7:30. We can I can get into to kick for Final Fantasy. Or we can have a panel was it 7:30? We can go to 7:30 to 9. It's up to y'all. He's saying you contradicted yourself. I don't contradict myself. I've offered him to debate multiple times. You want to know what he does? Doesn't respond. I've offered to debate him multiple times. He doesn't respond. Because you want to know why? He doesn't want that work. I've hit him up on Twitter from multiple accounts before they get, yeeted or something. He doesn't want that work, which is understandable. I wouldn't want that work either. What did Flash Thompson say? Flash, leave him alone. He doesn't want to fight. I wouldn't want to fight me neither. What's today? Today's Monday. We can't do Peep Game. Peep Game is Peep Game Tuesday. Check your IG DM about the NBA players. All right. Can we do for panel or kick? Panel on what? Panel. I don't think people know what kick is. Final Fantasy. We only have until 9. But we'll see. 910, you're on the line.
Hey, Lucas.
What's good?
I got a little disagreement with you guys.
Okay. What's the disagreement?
Okay, so you say that we don't have a voice for black people. And you don't even take credit for that. You are the voice. You are the voice.
I'm not the voice.
Let me give you some background. No, man, listen, Lucas. Let me tell you something. I have been listening to you for years. I've listened to Brandon Tatum. I've listened to the black dude with the glasses. I've listened to multiple conservative black people on YouTube. You're the only one I haven't cut off. You're the only one I haven't cut off. You are the voice. You might as well grab that mantle and keep going, bro. I mean, you make sense. I might not agree with everything you say, but you make more times than most, you make sense. I have stopped listening to Umar Johnson because you make more sense than all of them. I mean, I'm a U.S. citizen, but I'm from St. Croix. Okay. But I believe you guys deserve your reparations. I believe it, man. I used to be the type of the Negro that was like, man, that stuff is important. But you have made everything important. You have shown the importance of all these things. Reparations, affirmative action, us having a stronger voice in a political party. And I'm not talking this bullshit where they keep throwing at you, well, blacks started a Republican Party down in Texas. Well, guess who's the number one race in the Texas Republican Party? White. There's more white people in the Republican Party down in Texas. But we need a sector of a party that is just pro-black. And I'm not saying that we show hatred or anything towards anybody else, but we have issues that need to be pushed forward. Reparations, social services, the police issue, our neighborhoods, businesses, and so forth. And you have that voice.
We'll see if God puts it on my heart.
Come on, Lucas. By the way, I sent you a link to a video for it's a guy here in North Carolina who's running for, I think, governor. It's a black guy. Mm-hmm. I sent you the video on Instagram. You haven't checked it out yet, but he's saying that he told a liberal that we don't deserve reparations. Well, you guys don't deserve reparations. We should pay reparations to the United States. I'm waiting for your commentary on that. Please check that out. Please do.
Where'd you send the video?
Hold on. Look for me in the chat section where you get messages in Instagram.
Okay.
And then look for a name. It's called Drexel Hamilton.
Okay, I'll look for it.
Yeah, and just watch the video and just do a commentary on it. It's gonna piss you off. I know it will, but I just want to hear what you got to say on that. And also, I want to know what you think about what's his name? Byron. Is it Byron Donald? What is your opinion of him? I don't like him.
Yeah, I don't like him either.
He's a coon. I'm just gonna say that he's a coon. But I mean, look, you are the voice, man. God, maybe I'm a Christian. Maybe God told me to call you and tell you go and get rid of the tank and the cap, put on a suit and a tie, and look fresh and clean and do some up the podcast some more because hey, listen, you make sense. You make sense. You make sense. And maybe you need to start that party, bro. I know damn sure I'll try and get my membership card.
Maybe, my guy. I appreciate the call. You take care. Stay safe.
All right, bro.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, player. I don't know about that one, player. I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. But yeah. God gonna have to reach down, Lucas. It is you. So I'm like, you sure, Lord? No, I think there are people already doing the work that we just need to amplify. That's it. People are already doing the work, bro. I'm new in the game. I am new in the game. There have been people who already been saying what I've been saying for years, bro. For years. Aburi Jallo, I think that's the name. Appreciate the sub, my guy. We had panel 63. We can do a panel. I'll end this and then start a panel. I don't know what we're gonna do a panel about though. We need to have a panel topic. That's what we need to have. Or it's going to devolve into... Did you all catch the last panel? That panel was crazy, bro. That panel was crazy. The video... Bro, I'm not showing that video. Are you crazy? Ain't no way I'm showing that video. GC wants me to show an anti-black video. That's what GC wants. We can't amplify that message, GC. we can't amplify that message, bro. Apparently, some sus stuff going on in the NBA, bro. Some sus stuff going on in the NBA, that's all. Are you doing anything for 4th of July? Maybe the beach or something. Nothing planned. The GMOs hating on the super chats keep telling me to edit. I'm sorry, MP. The GMOs. Them GMOs, bro. You gotta watch out for the GMOs. Bruh, that's the best thing. That was God's gift to me yesterday, bro. Was it yesterday when that dude was talking about GMOs? Bro, they GMOs. They were. Oh man, that was the funniest thing ever. All right, we need a topic before we go into disagreement day. Not disagreement day, or do a panel. We only have until 9. 323, you're on the line.
Lucas, this is God speaking. Why are you running, my son? Why are you running, my son? You see what happened to Jonah when he was running.
Sir, I believe this is GC, not God.
Well, the G stands for you know what, but why are you running, my son?
Lord in heaven.
I sent a beautiful black queen that I molded from the mist of my power to handicraft it to you.
What is wrong with y'all?
You was complaining about not having a black woman, a black queen, because they all take it. I present it to you right here, and you want that the snow bunny has blinded your sight, my son. Did you look up and it just blinded you, bro? You have an opportunity for a podcast. I'm handing it to you. I'm handing it to you, son.
Bro, what is wrong with y'all? Are y'all crazy?
Do I have to cause a storm over your apartment? There's a knock on your door. It's your tenant. The rent's due. Better go run. Why you running? Turn around. Turn around. Turn around.
Bro, get off the line, bro. Crazy fool. What is wrong with y'all, bro? What is wrong with y'all? Y'all need to get that act right. What is wrong with y'all? Anytime someone calls in, y'all be just wilding out in the chat. Oh, get a number, Luca, get it. I'm like, bro, you don't know anything. You don't know her situation. You know my situation. Y'all just bunch of heathens, bro. Bunch of heathens, bro. What's wrong with y'all? What is wrong with that? What's the saying? Tell the truth and shame the devil. All right? What's wrong with y'all, bro? You lost your minds? A water lizard? Oh my God, bro. This is not the way, bro. This is not... Yo! I've never heard that one. I've never heard that one. Come on, y'all. We are better than this. We are better than this. Okay? We are better than this. Oh, water lizard. Oh my God, bro. Shame on you guys, bro. Shame on you guys. Frederick, get the 10 subs. Thank you, Frederick. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Frederick. A water lizard. Oh my God, bro. Shameful, bro. Shameful. You should be ashamed of yourself. I've heard it all, bro. Panel topic: interracial dating. That's interesting. Leave it to King Trayvon, bro. Trayvon's always... What is it? Trayvon's known for... What is his topics? He always saying some crazy stuff. I can't remember. Last time Trayvon was on a panel. He always saying some wild stuff, bro. Complete left field. Starfield is better than Spider-Man 2. That's... Sir. See, this is what I'm talking about. Then you guys get into gaming and saying some crazy stuff like that. Everything that we've seen of Starfield falls short in comparison to the little that we've seen of Spider-Man 2. Please stop it, bro. Stop the cap. I'll start up another stream with a panel. We'll end this stream here, right? It's good, PG, solid. We'll do another one with Trayvon's topic, maybe. All right, muchachos. Take care. Stay safe. I'll see you on like 3. Special shout out to the queen herself for holding it down.